Hi, welcome to our MVUSD RAD Teacher Show and Tell for the 2020 Virtual Badge Summit. My name is Carissa Marin, and I am a professional development specialist with the Moreno Valley Unified School District out here in California. And I have been in education for 14 years. I was a former high school English teacher, and I've been doing professional development and coaching now for 7 years, K through 12, and both in the public and private sector. So I'm a proud third generation educator, and I absolutely love what I do. And I'm so happy to have my co-facilitator here today, Jasmine Fincher.
Hi, thanks, Carissa. Yes, my name is Jasmine Fincher. I am also a professional development specialist here in Moreno Valley, California. I've been in education since 2006, and my background is elementary. Also passionate about culturally responsive teaching and PBIS. So we're super excited today to present to you what we've been working on with our district.
Thank you. And so we're going to just jump right in, and we're going to talk about RAD Teacher, how we came up with the idea, how we started it, and where we're going from here. So as you can see, we have our light bulb logo, which is also currently our digital badge that participants get when they finish. And you're going to find out what RAD stands for. So this is our MVUSD RAD Teacher Certification and Digital Badge. So as an introduction, Moreno Valley Unified School District, or MVUSD RAD Teacher, was created and implemented in the 2017-2018 school year. We are now in our third year and have changed and grown each year, especially this year, and Jasmine's going to get into that a little later. Our mission is to support educators as professional learning network in practicing reflection, action, and decorum. So that is where we get our RAD from. To customize and maximize student learning through strategic instructional practices and thoughtful content. To receive the RAD Teacher certification and digital badging, each participant must conduct action research within the context of their own classroom or school site. And so this idea I came up with before joining our professional development department, but did not have a platform in which to carry it out. So my initial inspiration is Fahrenheit 451, by Ray Bradbury, where he talks about that people need quality information, leisure to digest it, and the right to carry out actions based on the interactions of the first two. And when I read Pedagogy of the Oppressed by Paulo Freire, I found some similarities with reflection and action, and making it becoming your praxis, and that becomes your truth and your ability to transform the world, your society, the context in which you live. And so in its first iteration, we really focused on RAD Teacher in 3 different face-to-face sessions. So session 1 focused on reflection, in which teachers used habits of mind to think about the reflection and to create a goal that they wanted to meet, and also a research question. When we met the second time, remember this is a year-long process, we talked about action and created their action research timeline, and how they're going to reflect and journal their process. And then lastly, we covered decorum and what does it look like? So this was my addition to my inspiration after reflection and action. What does decorum look like? How do teachers amplify themselves in a professional manner to showcase the wonderful things that they're doing? And so this is a sample of a previous RAD teacher, Lindsay Presnell. And I'm just going to show you her website really quick. One of the requirements is to create a website along with having a social media presence on Twitter or other platforms. And so you see she has our RAD Teacher vision and mission. We like to keep that consistent. And her About Me section. So she's able to kind of showcase who she is. You see she has her Twitter, RAD Teacher Prez. So we do recommend that participants jump on that RAD Teacher bandwagon and use their first name or last name somehow. And she even made a cool little introduction video to introduce herself. In her reflection section, you're able to see her process, what she went through and what she did at each stage. So she started the very beginning of her journey at the bottom with some of her research that she conducted going in, and then took it to things that she was trying with her students, and even has images along the way to capture what she did. And then we look at her action. So she gives us, and we all use the same template as far as a mini action research template. And so she starts with her abstract, her problem issue, and her research questions, which she wanted to reflect on curriculum development, game-based learning with a focus on creating, imagining, and innovating. And so through that, she was able to come up with 3 research questions that she wanted to focus on. And then went to her methods and data section. What was she doing? How did she collect her data? And then lastly, her conclusion. What did students find most engaging? And it was really cool because she was able to see that kids were engaging in old school board games or even DOS games. There's a really cool DOS game of Fahrenheit 451, and they just loved it. And then when we get into decorum, so what is professional decorum, and her own definition of what that looks like in education for a teacher and things that she values. So as you can see, our RAD teacher participants, as they're going through this year-long process, they're developing themselves and finding practices and strategies that work with their own students. So it's very powerful. And so now we're going to talk about cohort 3 and the adjustments we made. And this is a cohort in which Jasmine joined me. And so she had a pivotal role in helping me to modify the program.
Thank you, Carissa. So yeah, one thing that we noticed at cohort 3 is, again, as Carissa mentioned, this is a year-long program. And almost at the end, we had, of course, COVID-19. And so one of the issues was, how do we continue the program amidst this pandemic? And so as Carissa showed you in the previous slides, a lot of what the tools that we use in the program are digital. We utilize, as you mentioned, Padlet, the Google Suite. And so that transition piece was easy. The more difficult piece was, what are teachers going to do with their action research that they've already started? And so the decision came about to do a collaborative piece, a project. And so that's what we're going to show you in the next few slides. So we end up breaking our cohort into 2 groups. We're going to show you just briefly group 1 and what their project looked like. And group 1 chose to focus on the teacher experience with student engagement. You know that from the research and talking with a lot of teachers, engagement was an issue because while teachers were able to control kind of the space and culture of their classrooms, it was a little bit more difficult when students transitioned to their homes, right? And what was out of our circle control. So how do we re-engage students into this virtual world? And so the question emerged, which student learning platforms were the most effective in engaging students with distance learning? And the importance of this study is how we make our decisions, right? With our money and our time, most importantly with student learning. And so from that, we kept the same method because, again, that was an important process. So there's a plan. We plan to distribute a survey to teachers through an email, through the district email, and then looking at the data, looking at the quantitative data, right? Looking at the demographics, looking at the platforms, what professional development do teachers participate in? And finally, the analysis piece, right? After a week or so, what were the different trends that we saw? How were students being engaged with the various content? And so what came out of that is a conclusion. What does the data tell us, and some recommendations? And you can see here that we got a lot of information, and one of the really great things, we were able to present this to our directors, the leaders in our district, and they were so excited about this information, right? The study that was just on the verge of what we needed. So many teachers and even leaders in our district felt kind of like their hands were tied, right? As we're waiting for like the CDC and the state to come down with some guidelines. And so this gave some empowerment for our teachers, but even for our leaders.
Right, and it was a time where they were able to see, wow, our teachers are doing this work, and they were proud of it. And it's leading to our future focus of, let's do more collaborative action research, and let's really look at what are some of our district initiatives, what are some of the things that that we can do action research on that will actually support district initiatives or directions that directors want to go, or maybe some programs they want to implement. And so we're finding that this will be a very useful program from now going from the site level and teachers' individual action research in their classrooms to a bigger picture. And of course, teachers will still have the option to do their individual action research because despite COVID-19, we still had 3 teachers that were able to continue with their original action research in this distance learning format. So thank you for joining us in our show and tell today. Again, I have my social media available here, so you could always email me at my email or my Twitter handle at RAD Teacher Marin. and of course, Instagram, Peace, Love, Education.
Thank you so much.